Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and y'all are probably wondering what exactly happened to my Emmys live stream last night. Why didn't I do one? Why didn't I announce one? Well, I honestly just wasn't really in the mood for it. I didn't really feel like doing a live stream last night. I had other things that I was doing that I think were a little bit more important overall, but I did finally get to watch them today. So I finally watched the Emmys, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the night overall, what I liked, what I didn't like, all that kind of stuff as I usually do. And we're just going to dive into it right now. So before we start off talking about the night, let me just get into the fact that this Emmys in general was not my favorite in terms of nominations. I was very vocal on both Twitter and Facebook about how I really was not happy with a lot of these nominations. I think that there were a ton of snubs. There were a lot of things I was expecting to be in there that just were not. There were some surprises for sure. Like, I was very happy to see, for example, Zendaya get in there for Euphoria and for The Mandalorian to be nominated for things. That's not something that I would have ever expected, but there were some very clear snubs and things that definitely did annoy me for sure. And I mean, there are two especially that just really pissed me off for sure. The two shows that were completely shut out of this year were Better Call Saul and especially Mr. Robot, which I think is ridiculous. Better Call Saul had what most people consider to be its best season yet, and the fact that none of them got recognition, no Bob Odenkirk, no Rhea Seehorn, no Jonathan Banks, I just thought was insane. I could not believe that they were snubbed like that. I thought for sure that they would get in there, and they did not. Nobody from Better Call Saul got anything. The one that pisses me off the most, though, is, of course, the complete erasure of Mr. Robot within this award show. I think that it's honestly ridiculous that there was not any sign of Mr. Robot in here, especially the fact that it is their last season. It very much reminds me of The Leftovers in season 3, where there were so many things that they could have gotten nominated for, and instead they were just completely shut out. And the same goes for this year. And look, I might be biased because you all know how much I love Mr. Robot, but that being said, I don't know how you look at proxy authentication required, that episode, and not consider giving Rami Malek a nomination there. I feel like it is so obvious that he should have been nominated there. He doesn't need the win necessarily, but I just would have appreciated a nomination, some kind of acknowledgement, some kind of recognition that Rami Malek needed, and he did not get it at all, and that really did piss me off, I have to say. I really thought that he was going to get in there. I was very happy he got in there for the Globes, but Emmys completely snubbed him, and I really just don't get it. I don't get what else they needed to do to get those awards, and I was just really pissed off that they ended up getting nothing. I also don't understand how Reese Witherspoon was in 3 huge shows this year. 3 huge shows: Big Little Lies, The Morning Show, Little Fires Everywhere, not small roles, and you just don't give her any nominations. They could have given her any of those 3, and they chose to just give her none. I didn't understand that logic at all. I thought at least she would get in there for Little Fires Everywhere, because Little Fires Everywhere got a lot of stuff, but she ended up getting jack shit, and I really did not understand that at all, so that really annoyed me for sure. And then Big Little Lies being snubbed for drama series, I'm not too surprised about that. The second season, a lot of people were not fans of. I personally really loved it, but a lot of people I know were not as big of a fans as they were of season 1. But the fact that that didn't get nominated, and then Nicole Kidman didn't get nominated either, that very much surprised me. I thought for sure she'd be in there, and she was not, so that was a little strange. Also, Aaron Paul not getting anything for El Camino. I mean, El Camino wasn't recognized at the Oscars. A lot of people thought it was going to be at the Emmys, and instead he did not get a nomination, which I am very surprised about. I thought for sure he would get some recognition for that, considering that Breaking Bad, I believe, when it was on, was nominated almost every single year, or at least it should have been, because, it's one of the greatest shows of all time. And yes, he has won Emmys for that character before, so I understand that, but like, he still should have been nominated there. Like, no question about it. He should have been nominated, and the fact that he wasn't, I think, is kind of ridiculous overall. But those are really all the main snubs, I would say. The one that I was most happy about in terms of surprises was Paul Mescal for Normal People. I did not expect Normal People to get really any love at all, because I didn't feel like that was something that the Emmys would really award, but the fact that he was nominated, I was happy about. But then they didn't nominate Daisy Edgar Jones as well, which was weird to me, and they didn't nominate Normal People for limited series. So it's like a compliment sandwich. There's things I like and there's things I don't like. So that's really how I felt in terms of the nominations. More on the negative side than the positive, honestly. There were a lot of snubs this year, and I wasn't that excited for the Emmys as a result. I just thought they were kind of dumb in snubbing these things that were obviously should be nominated and were not, and that definitely did kind of piss me off overall. There are a few more that I definitely could think of that definitely did bother me. But that being said, I do think overall this was a pretty good night. I enjoyed the way that, the Emmys turned out overall. And I think I should start off by saying that in the age of a pandemic, when there's so little content going on in terms of entertainment, and there's so many things that are just getting canceled left and right or postponed, and there's just no sign of anything happening, the fact that they even were able to put this together, I think is an achievement. And I honestly can't thank everyone enough for putting something like that together, because it's something that I always enjoy watching every single year. Maybe I don't enjoy the entirety of it. 2018 Emmys for sure. That one was not my favorite. But just the fact that we're able to put something together is something that I very much do appreciate. And I think it's something that did overall turn out really well. If you were to get a host for this, someone that pretty much has to be off the cuff the entire time, I think Jimmy Kimmel was the perfect choice here. The way that he stepped in, really tried to elevate the night, really tried to keep things exciting and fun. I think he did a really good job overall. And look, I've had my criticisms with Jimmy Kimmel in the past, but I really did not have any criticisms in terms of him as a host last night. I think he did everything that he needed to. He was there when things could have potentially gotten awkward. He kept it fun. He kept it exciting. He was very off the cuff, and I thought his material was also pretty good. I liked his gag in the beginning where he's speaking to a complete just vacant audience, and he's imagining that like people are in there. I thought that was cool. I liked the way that was done. I thought some of his interplay was really fun. Like, I liked his gag with Jennifer Aniston that, oh, you can't win the award unless you're home, and then she goes home and there's like a whole Friends reunion. I thought that was really cool. I enjoyed just the way that he really was the host throughout this whole thing, which is something we don't normally see in these award shows. The host stood there with the presenter. Whoever was presenting the award, Jimmy Kimmel was like right alongside them, because they don't have anyone else there. They don't have anyone giving out the envelopes. It's all Jimmy Kimmel that's doing that. And I thought that was actually really good, the way they handled all of that. I thought that his interplay with everyone was something that I really did enjoy a lot. I liked the gag with Anthony Anderson. I just thought overall Kimmel kept things light and fun, and that's really all I could ask for with something like this. And so I really don't have many complaints with him as a host at all. There were some gags here and there that didn't land, but overall, I think in terms of what they did, I think it definitely did work pretty well. I don't really have too many complaints on that side of things, which is not something I can usually say, but I think not having an audience and not being able to cut to as many ridiculous gags, I think actually kept things flow better. The night flowed better because of it, and that's something that I did overall really appreciate. I also really appreciated that they focused solely, aside from a few other people, a lot of these awards were presented by like the frontline workers or people, say like a teacher who hasn't seen her kids in 6 months and is very eager to get back to that, or a UPS driver who is kind of just going about his day. I thought that was really, really fun, really good to see. I think, during a pandemic, that's something that we are definitely grateful for, those people that are working so hard, those people who haven't left their jobs and or those people who have been away from their jobs forever. And I think this was a good way of shedding light on those individuals, which is something that I definitely really did appreciate quite a bit. And I think there was some good stuff that they did there. So that was something that I definitely really did appreciate for sure. I think that they really did make an effort to show what mattered at the end of the day. Yes, we're giving out awards, and those are important, but we should also care just as much about the people who are sacrificing their lives and the people who are doing what they can to, help stop this disease from spreading, even if it seems kind of impossible at this point. I think that was something that they did a really good job at highlighting in this, and that was something that I definitely really did appreciate for sure. Getting into the awards themselves, though, this was a very interesting night because saying that there were very few, there was very little variety in terms of the wins, I think is an understatement, because I have not seen it quite like this in a while, where virtually almost every single award was the same show or the same people. Let's talk about comedy, for example. I've never seen this. I really have never seen this happen. I do remember instances where a comedy series has won a lot, like there was a year Modern Family was winning constantly, or there was a year where I know, where, for example, I think The Office was winning a lot and things like that. But I've never seen where literally it's to the point where every other comedy show had 0 shots. Schitt's Creek swept the night, and it was insane. And look, I don't watch Schitt's Creek. I've heard really good things about it, but after this, I'm going to watch Schitt's Creek because holy shit, this is historic. The amount of times we heard Dan Levy, the amount of times we heard the name Schitt's Creek, the amount of times we saw Dan Levy so flabbergasted. I was just in awe of how much that they were winning. I couldn't believe just how much this show was sweeping. And like I said, I've had friends recommend this show to me. I've heard that it's a lot of fun, but I did not think that it had this much of a chance to sweep. I thought that it would definitely get a few things for sure because it is the final season. I did not think it would get virtually every single thing that it was nominated for. I don't think there was something that Schitt's Creek was nominated for that it did not win, which is not something that you can usually say. And the fact that that was the case, I think is incredible. And again, I can't be upset about it because I haven't seen this show. I've heard really good things about it. And I think it's really exciting that they were able to win that much. I just think about, where they were sitting in like a restaurant or whatever in Canada and the way they were going about that, I thought was definitely, really great. I felt so happy for them, and I couldn't believe that they received that much. And it was, again, literally no other comedy show even had a shot at winning. It was just, if you're, nominated alongside Schitt's Creek, you were done for. And that's really how it was all night. And I thought that was insane. I've never seen something quite like that happen before. And I thought that was crazy the way that all turned out. But I definitely was happy to see that. I think that was really cool for sure. Again, I haven't watched the show, but this gives me major incentive to do so after such a historic win in that way. Just bravo to the team at Schitt's Creek. I just can't remember the last time I've seen something like that happen, and I think that's incredible the way that turned out for sure. And then similar to Schitt's Creek, in the drama category, Succession took up the majority of the awards. Now, it wasn't like Schitt's Creek where it took literally everything that it was nominated for. There were a couple things that it did not get, like supporting actress in a drama series that went to Julia Garner for Ozark. But almost everything else, it did in fact win. Jeremy Strong won something. Brian Cox won something. Succession won Best Drama. And similar to the Golden Globes, it just really makes me want to watch Succession. I watched one episode. I wasn't a big fan, but I really do want to continue now because it seems like it's only gotten better as it's gone on. I've heard it's become one of the best shows on TV, and knowing how much, awards it's received, how much praise it's gotten, I'm sure I said this back in January, but I will definitely definitely be keeping an eye out on Succession. I will try to catch up before the third season. I'm not sure when that's coming out, but whenever it does, I will absolutely keep watch out for that, because I do plan to watch that show and give my thoughts on it. I really feel like I should, after it winning, so many awards, because clearly it is, if it's winning that much, it's definitely good enough for me to watch. So I definitely will keep an eye out for that one. Now, on the flip side of things, something I was very happy about to see get so many wins was for Watchmen. I was so happy to see Watchmen receive as much as it did. Regina King won some things. The fact, Yahya Abdul-Mateen won for Best Supporting Actor in a limited series or movie or something like that. And then the fact that I can finally say that Damon Lindelof has an Emmy next to his name for an HBO series, all is right in the world again, because you guys know for years I have talked about how upset I am at the Emmys for, completely snubbing and depriving Lindelof of what he rightly deserved in The Leftovers. This slightly makes up for that. Not entirely. All is not forgiven, definitely, because there are some performers in that show. There was a lot of work put into that show that never received, the awards that they deserved. But the fact that a Damon Lindelof show has, received a bunch of awards for something that they do very much deserve, that's something that I'm very happy about. I absolutely adore Watchmen. I think it's such a great show. I think the work that Damon Lindelof put into it is incredible. I loved what he ended up saying in his speech, and I just thought that was just such a great win for them. I absolutely loved that Watchmen pretty much swept in terms of limited series. That's not something that I would have expected. I would have thought Little Fires Everywhere got some stuff, or, maybe Unorthodox, which I do think Unorthodox won like one thing, but most of it was Watchmen, and that was great. I was very happy they won like 7 things last night. So that was definitely something that I was very happy about for sure. First of all, the amount of stuff that Watchmen received, in comparison to The Leftovers is amazing to me. I mean, not only did it get things like Regina King and Jean Smart, which were obvious, but Javon Adipo got in there for one episode from when he was young Will Reeves, and which really showed how great he was in that role. Louis Gossett Jr. got in there. Jeremy Irons got in there. So many actors from that show got in there, and that's something that I was so happy about. And it's not just because The Leftovers was completely shut out of every single thing that was nominated for. It's that the reason why I was so upset about that is because that is such a talented cast, and similar to The Leftovers, almost everyone in Watchmen, I think, gave an Emmy-worthy performance. So I'm very happy to see it rack up all of these nominations and win a bunch of them, too. Regina King winning, Yahya Abdul-Mateen winning things are not things that I would have expected to see, and I'm very happy that they did. I'm very happy that this show, even though it was only one season, has all these awards to take away from it, and I'm really happy for Damon Lindelof as a result. I feel like it's been a long time coming for him to, receive some awards again his way, and I was glad to see that that last night he did in fact get what he deserved, and I was very happy to see that overall. However, the one that it did not take was one that I definitely was not expecting, and that was for lead actor in limited series. That went to Mark Ruffalo for I Know This Much Is True. And look, I haven't reviewed it yet, but I will say right now, that is absolutely deserving because the work that he does in that show is on another level. It's such a transformative performance. It's quite possibly the best he's ever been. I am definitely going to finish it eventually. I have a plan where I'm going to do sort of a catch-up review of a bunch of shows that I've watched and give like quick little thoughts on each of them and go about it that way. I don't entirely know when that video will be out, but once it is, you guys will know when. But I think that it was definitely a deserving win. I was very happy to see him win there. I was not expecting to win over, say, like Hugh Jackman, though. I thought Hugh Jackman was going to win for Bad Education or Jeremy Irons for Watchmen. But no, Ruffalo ultimately took it down. And I think it was definitely a deserving role because, again, the complexity of the role that he's portraying, the way that it was like a dual role, and you really can't tell that it's a dual role because that's just how great Ruffalo is. Every single, second of that performance, he put so much work into, and it absolutely deserved the win there. So I was very happy to see that one for sure. I think that was definitely a deserving win. And then the other one it did not win was for supporting actress. That went to Uzo Aduba for Mrs. America, which I gotta finish that show as well. There's a lot of shows I haven't finished, guys. I'm sorry. I need to get to them. But of what I've seen in that show, Uzo Aduba is definitely deserving for sure. But I do have to watch more of it, unfortunately. Now, that being said, the best award of the night was the one that I really was not expecting here. It was not what I would have expected to win, but it did, and that was Zendaya for Euphoria, which was just such an amazing achievement. And honestly, out of the people nominated there, I really don't think anyone else deserved that win more than Zendaya. And here's the thing, like, yes, we knew Zendaya could act, but what she did in Euphoria, she really just proved just how great of an actress she is. We knew she could act, but we didn't know she could act that well. And Euphoria really did showcase that incredibly, and I do think she absolutely deserves this win here because of that. I think everything that she did in that show was amazing. I think that the work she put into it was on another level, and I was very happy to see her win for Euphoria here. It sucks that we're not getting any Euphoria for a while, but this was just a really great reminder of what that show did, how great of a show it was. The way it was able to, have such realistic portrayals of these very damaged characters, and especially for someone like Rue, who is very much someone that is very damaged, is going through a lot of personal issues. I think that's something that Zendaya just did so well in that role, and I can't think of someone else that was more deserving to win that than Zendaya. I loved her speech when she talked about young people and how we definitely do have a lot of promise within us, despite what some shows may say. And look, definitely, I mean, Aniston could have won, Olivia Colman could have won for sure, but out of all of them, Zendaya is really who I was pulling for. I did not think she was going to get it, and the fact that she did is something that I was very, very happy about. So I honestly couldn't be happier that she ended up winning for that. So yes, definitely very happy that Zendaya ended up winning for Euphoria. I think was absolutely the right win, and I was very happy to see her rack up that award. I think out of all the awards of the night, besides Watchmen, that's the one that I am definitely the most happy about. So yeah, I think overall that is probably the one that really just shows that while there were a lot of snubs, there were definitely some very deserving winners in there, and Zendaya, I think, is maybe the most deserving out of all. And then there's also one award that I'm sure you guys want me to talk about. The Governor's Award went to my favorite creator, Tyler Perry, of course. And look, as much as I've very much brought up before how not a fan I am of Tyler Perry's work, and how I really can't stand most of what he does, I can't say he didn't deserve this award, because admittedly he did do a lot for the, Black community. He pioneered, a sort of style and a sort of home for everyone. It's something that he did on his own. Nobody else thought he could do it, and he did it. And again, while I'm not a fan of it, I don't think this award isn't, deserving. I do think that it makes sense why he did receive this, and it's fine. I don't really have too much to say about it at all. I'm not going to get too angry about it because, again, the award, I do think, what he was awarded for is something that I do think he does deserve. So I'm perfectly fine with him receiving that. Overall, as a night, like I said, I thought it was pretty solid. Like I said, I thought Jimmy Kimmel did some really good stuff to keep everyone entertained. I liked a lot of the interplay that he did. There were some gags that did fall short that like I said, I wasn't a big fan of. There were definitely a lot of snubs this year, but the wins, Euphoria, Watchmen, especially, I think very much did make up for it. Schitt's Creek winning the amount of stuff it did is insane to me. I'm definitely going to watch that show soon for sure. There's a lot of stuff I definitely was not expecting, but I think overall it was a pretty solid night. And like I said, at the top of this video, the fact that we were even able to get this, I think is something that we should be appreciative of. I think it's something that we should definitely be happy about, because we very well could have not gotten this. And the fact that we did, I think in itself is very much a delight, very much something that I'm happy about. So that's really my thoughts on the Emmys this year overall. Like I said, I just was not really in the mood to do a full-on live stream, but that's really it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of the Emmys this year. Loved your thoughts on them. I do promise there are, TV reviews and movie reviews coming. I still have a good amount of stuff that I need to review. I got a whole catch-up coming for movies that I've seen, one for TV as well. There are some movies I've seen this month, though, that you are going to get individual reviews for, so look forward to that. That's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in my next video, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.